Muito bom. Queria introduzir o próximo palestrante. Vai trazer uma palestra sobre democratização da IA. Ele se chama Brian Rowe, é o vice-presidente de inteligência artificial e machine learning na Mar Labs. Irá palestrar em inglês. Está aqui diretamente de Indianápolis, nos Estados Unidos. So I'd like to introduce our guest speaker, Democratizing AI, the Rise of Open Source LLMs and their impact on innovation and industry. Brian Rowe, Vice President of Artificial Intelligence and Machine Learning from Mar Labs. You may now take the main stage. Welcome.
Thank you. Hello. Desculpe, não falo português. You'll suffer my English today, I apologize. So I wanted, just before we start, to set the tone of where we're at with AI and let you know where we're coming from today. This is not a McKinsey speech, right? You're not allowed to say cocaine at McKinsey, so this is how we roll at Mar Labs. Like they told you, I lead the AI and ML group at Mar Labs. And who am I, so you know what we're talking about here? I've been in the industry for 30 years, grew up on the internet, then data, big data, machine learning, and now AI. I work in AI every day for many years, and I wrote the recommendation algorithm that Salesforce uses on 5,000 personalization sites around the world. I sold them that company, and that company is still operating as one of the best recommendation engines in the world today. It was a reinforcement learning algorithm. They didn't have those words at the time, but that's what you would call it today. So it's been learning for 15 or 20 years about what to sell you. It's very good at it. I should have got a royalty. So I followed a normal career path in America. It was very simple and straightforward. They tell you what to do. You go to college, you go to consulting, then you get some manufacturing experience and an MBA, and then you do whatever you want. It's a straight path. I didn't invent it. I didn't even think about it. They said, if you want to be very successful, this is what you do. And then I went to buy and sell companies, and now I consult because I really enjoy it. But look at what Meta said the other day. They'll have a mid-level software engineer in AI by mid-2025. I think Meta is a little behind schedule, but the rest of the providers are not behind schedule. Some of them are ahead of schedule, right? So what's a career path for an individual today? It's very challenging to know what to do. Bill Gates, I think just yesterday, said in 10 years, AI and robots will be replacing doctors. So if you're looking at a future and education and what you're going to study for years, do you want to go to school for something that's not going to be a job potentially? I think this is a major, major challenge for us. It's as humans. Like, what does it mean to be human over the next 10 years? And we have to figure it out together. It's not necessarily what the talk is today, but a lot of what we talk about today is driving us towards this challenge of what will humans really do 10 years from now. It's not next year, you know, we're pretty good for 18 months, but very soon, this is what we'll be talking about all the time. And I often hear people say that the AI is not that smart. They will say, well, it just predicts the next word. But realize the average IQ of a human is 100. If you look, right, O3 Mini, it's not even the best model, clocking in at 120, right? That is maybe your average person who's successful in business comes in maybe in this 110 to 120. And I don't even have the latest models. I couldn't update the chart. If we were to update this chart for today, you would see many more on the right side of the chart. And if you remember, just a couple days ago, when DeepSeek, that top one there, the whale, When that went live, it blew up the internet. It blew up the American stock market because it was so impressive. Maybe a little overreaction, only a 100 IQ. The AI is getting so good that we had to invent a new exam. We've invented two, actually. I only have the chart for one. But this is humanity's last exam. It's about 3,000 questions that they asked the AI. And you can see no progress was really being made. And then all of a sudden, we go exponential, right? I think when many people look at this chart, they often see exponential growth curve. This was February. I have to date it because it changes so fast. I'm going to say this out loud. It's going to sound strange. I don't know if it will convert into your language very well, but it feels like it's slowing down. Is that possible? It feels to me like the AI is slowing down. When I look at this chart, I see actually an S-curve where this has plateaued. There's been many more models. If you look here at the date, you'll see April 2025. We are not continuing on the exponential growth curve. On Monday, Gemini 2.5, the quote-unquote new reigning best model came out. It scores 18%, 18.8, 19%. So we have stopped improving on this exam. It's about 26% is the high score. And everything new, if I were to update this, would be between 15 and 20%. And it's just started to level out. So it feels like even though there's a lot of activity, the improvement in the AI itself has slowed down for many months. Now, I just said it feels like it's getting slower, but every prediction we've made about AI so far in its adoption has been wrong, and it's come faster. It's extremely odd for technology, right? I'm old enough to remember when we were going to replace the mainframe, and I did many projects when we were going to replace the mainframe. It was going to be gone before the 2000s. I know people still running the mainframe. So most of our predictions in technology actually are overestimated. We say they'll come faster than they actually do. In this case, all our predictions are wrong, but we have predicted it too long. Instead, the timelines are coming faster, and people are less prepared for what's coming to them. Just 2 years ago, Grok wasn't even on the map. Like, you didn't even know what it was. Then it comes onto the scene, you drop some money, boom. At the time this was released, they were the leader at the time they launched. They're already been surpassed, obviously. But the point is, with enough money and a little bit of time and commitment, anyone now can be the leader in an LLM. The moat, the protection for your business as an LLM provider is essentially erased. There is no moat. And you see the strategy of the big foundational models trying to adjust to be application providers, to get more lock-in in different ways, because the expertise of the model alone is not enough to keep you in. And you can see where DeepSeek V3 that made all the news, it's pretty high too and was even cheaper. So these things are cheaper to make, and now they're coming out faster. And it makes sense if you think about it for a moment. Let's say you were going to take a test or prepare a paper, and you had to do all the research yourself. You had to go around and you had to find all the research segments yourself. It would take you a very long time to study for the test. Imagine to study for that same test, all of the research is stacked up in front of you. It's already ready to go. How much faster will you be ready? Much faster. And so DeepSeek and these new models, they're using the existing models to continue to prep these other models. Okay? So the research is already there. Now, A lot of times we talk about it, people say, well, AI, it's just the next character. What does it know? It's not that smart. You gotta sort of get past that. That's maybe yesterday, maybe today. This is changing quickly. But look at what happened in chess. Chess is a dead game, right? Humans play humans for fun. But one of the best chess players in the world has admitted that AI makes him feel stupid. He's one of the smartest guys in the world. I can't play it anymore. It's useless. He feels useless. Okay? It's a dead game. He plays because the AI is teaching him something, not him teaching the AI anymore. It's very different. And what's happening right now, this is referred to commonly as reinforcement learning, which is what's being done here, where the computer learns to play the games. This is now being applied to your LLMs. Like DeepSeek used reinforcement aggressively to improve how it produces its result and learn. This is only going to extend, okay? And when it does, it's going to be learning faster than all of us. So how do we be productive today with AI? You've probably engaged with chat many times. I just want to clarify some language here for what we're talking about. Chat is when you go and you type interactively. If you wanted some code from it, maybe you cut and paste. If you wanted it to write a paper for you, you cut and paste, and you engage in a chat dialogue. We're going to talk about agents in a minute, and I want to make sure. Agents are when maybe you chat with the AI or there's a trigger and the agent goes and does the work. So the agent goes and writes the code for you. You don't cut and paste the code. The AI just writes the code for you, makes all the edits, right? Most of the code I write today is quote-unquote generated by AI because it types faster than me. I know how to write the code. I can't type that fast. It just types faster, no typos. I hate typos. But the Anthropic CEO said 90% of code will be written by AI in the next 12 months. I don't think he's wrong. On GitHub, something like 50 to 60% of all code in GitHub right now is written by AI. I'm not saying it's good code. I'm saying a lot of people probably argue about that code. But the reality is 50 to 60% is written by AI. And AI is writing its own code to make AI better already. Okay, so agents, again, because we want to get value for our company and we want to use this today, we want the AI to work on our behalf. We always talk about it as digital labor. And this isn't a new concept, okay? It's extending to get more features, but we used to write rules-based systems, right? We knew how to do that very well. Then we had intelligent automation. And now we have agentic AI, really just an extension of everything we were already doing. It just can do more now. We used to, with intelligent automation, you would have to go to maybe a web page or a computer, and you would program exactly what to look for and what to click. Now you have autonomous agents where the computer just can use your mouse, it can look at the screen, and it can accomplish a goal without you telling it all the clicks. You just tell it the goal, and it does the work on your behalf, okay? This is only going to get better and better. There's multiple vendors. When it came out, the computer controller was very interesting. Now, basically, everybody's producing it. There's multiple vendors. Some are free, some are paid, right? And so that's what we're going to continue to talk about. The costs are just coming down, down, down. So what's really important for an agent to work on your behalf, for it to act like a human, for us to get to AGI, one of the things it needs to be able to do is work on longer tasks. I would argue that the AI can now achieve AGI with this level of task timing, right? Every 7 months, it's doubling in time. But how many humans do you know that work a task longer than an hour? I don't, right? You set your Pomodoro, you work 55 minutes, you take a small break, you task switch. Very few people are working longer than an hour. And so you already are at a point where an agent can work for about an hour on your behalf, and you can chain these tasks together for it, and it can be continuously working on your behalf. This is a great achievement. I'm not going to go through this slide. I promised them we wouldn't do too much technical work. But what I'm showing is, and this, I believe the slides will be available for anyone that wants to see them later, but this is an agentic, basically stack. I have most of this running in my house. That's not for everyone, but I like it. This is all free software, okay? It's all free. So if you wanted to get engaged, it's all free that you can run and install and get practice and experience. More importantly, though, your company may not want to use the free stack, but the upstart that you compete against probably is. They're not paying the big software license. They have more money. They have more time than money. They don't have maybe all the funding. And they're going to pull together solutions that are 10x cheaper than what you're doing today if you're not trying to figure this out. Just a small example because people don't see it very often. It looks very familiar. It's just a drag and drop workflow. This is a tool called N8N. It is free. There's a paid version, of course, that you can have them host for you. But it has like 150 connections to other popular software. And then you can have this monitor your agent workflow for you. And it's a low-code, no-cost environment for you to do this. So you can coordinate many agents to work on your behalf. I have some of these that run. They email me based on events and research that they do on a periodic basis. The cost of LLMs, to use these AIs, has also come way down. There's many, many free options. Now, I caution you, many free options will take all your data. Don't do this with your work data, right? Use the paid version. But if you're practicing, if you're learning, if you're doing POCs, and I promise your competitors that are upstarts, they're using the free one with no cost to get ahead and disrupt industries. But this isn't even the full list of models. And the DeepSeek R1 and the Gemini Pro 2.5 is out. It's also free, and it's really good, okay? So people are getting the experience and the opportunity to invent things with almost no cost to them. When I made this presentation the first time, I thought I was done, and then I wake up, and what happens? A new open source model comes out. I think this is the big news for the day. It's a large model at 1% of the cost of OpenAI. The costs are just pushing down. The pressure on these big vendors is going to be enormous for them to give you more things for free at a better price, but also it's going to be more accessible. Just went to the afternoon. It's not important because this model will be gone in a week probably. But just in the same day, 3/17 in the afternoon, another model launched. It's the best small model. This happens every week. A new small model comes out that's low cost and free to run. If you look at this chart though, I would say benchmarks aren't everything, right? Everyone uses, for the free, mostly the Gemma 3. And it's way back here. But it is one of the more popular still. But this one only came out 3/17. 24 billion parameters. We won't get into what that means too much technically, but it does mean I can run it on home on my laptop. That's pretty impressive, and it's pretty cheap, and I can use it unlimited. So here's the thing. All these frontier models have basically been trained on all the data you have. I know there's a lot of argument about that. There's some data, they're working through like OCR scanning papers to get more data. But I think most people in the industry now believe more data is not going to be the answer, okay? And so what's happening is the smaller models are catching up. They're distilling down what the frontier models put together, and they're catching up, and they're using thinking and reasoning, extra GPU compute time at runtime, costs a little more to run, but it's making it so that these smaller open source models can do things for you at a lower cost. And they're getting cheaper to train, cheaper every day to train. So what do we need to make another big breakthrough? I think we still need, we're like an algorithm short. We need one more improvement in algorithm. This will probably come in the form of something that helps the AI have the right memory. Today, we can make an AI that remembers everything. This is not a good idea, actually, what we've learned. Remembering everything is as much a curse as it is a blessing. When the AI remembers everything, it has trouble prioritizing what's important, what's correct, and what's recent. So just remembering everything is not the answer right now. So this is going to have to improve in some way to reach AGI. We also need one more chip breakthrough. Right now it's pretty incremental and it's good enough. We'll talk about that in a second. It's good enough to do everything you need to do today, but I'm convinced we're going to get some form of runtime model that will 10x the improvement, so it's cheap enough to put an AI in your microwave. It's not there yet, but that improvement's coming. And then we need a lot of power. It is true, things are getting more efficient with power, but the head of Microsoft said it's impossible almost to compute how much power we need. The good news, this is technically solved. There's no technology to figure out power right now. It's all really money and politics, but the answer is already known. So we don't have to worry as much. It's really about who will roll it out, who will make the investment. So like I said, there's plenty that we can do right now. Actually, if there were no improvements in the current models from what we have right now, we could be rolling out solutions for 5 to 10 years, right? We have enough power right now in robots. We've upgraded our robots from having 7 billion parameters to 32 billion parameters, and now we can fit 2 chips. So for applications, that's like a 5x improvement almost. And the robots are ready to launch next year. They'll be coming out, and they'll be working in manufacturing and factories next year. We have enough AI to drive your car, right? So these edge computing cases, as we get there, we can do all those things today. And if you look, I found this particularly, exciting and scary. DeepSeek wrote its own code to make it faster, right? There's a great tool that we use for coding. 65% of the last release of that tool was written by AI. If you think AI cannot write good code, that's a personal problem. That's like a me problem. I'm bad at PowerPoint. That's a me problem. PowerPoint works. If you can't get these tools to answer and write the code you want and do some of these things, that's a problem where we have to cross that technology chasm. It's not an AI problem. Not anymore. So I wrote this before Gartner made their statement, and you care more about the Gartner one than mine. Gartner predicts that by 2027, very soon, organizational use of small, task-specific AI models will exceed general-purpose LLMs. Why are they saying this? And I don't know that I technically agree wholeheartedly with their statement, but the direction is probably correct. Because you, as companies, have data that the foundation and frontier models don't have. You're the last set of data in your company that they haven't trained on. And you're going to be able to train small models at lower costs relatively quickly for specific tasks that can do work at your company. And the frontier models can't do that. They can do very generic things. They can build a good base of these things, but they simply right now do not have the data. Does that mean they won't ever learn, that you won't train some of those frontier models as well? Possibly, right? That's not totally out of the question. But in the near future, the fact that these smaller models that you can host and run internally are easy to train and easy to host on your own. If you think about proprietary data, things you don't want to go out, protecting your information, a lot of people are interested in doing this themselves, and it's becoming much more accessible. And this, I think last time I talked to people about this, they found this most disturbing. So I apologize. But you have these tools that can fit right on your desk now. And I named them Joe and Igor because you'll train these small models. Imagine everyone has a PhD level intelligent person on their desk working with them side by side every day. And you only handle maybe exceptions or asking it to do tasks on your behalf. This is coming. These small devices that cost a fraction of what a human costs to deploy are going to be on people's desktops eventually. Is it the next 6 months? No. But eventually, these will be even cheaper and more powerful, and they'll be executing work on your behalf. And you'll ask the agent to do things for you, and you're human in the loop, going to check the exceptions, check the direction. And I have 2 of them here because a lot of people don't think about it. But in your organization today, your humans make mistakes. Right? You always hear that the AI is making mistakes. It's not perfect. It's not perfect. Yeah, your humans aren't perfect. I know. And you have systems. You just don't recognize them. You have checks and balances already in your company specifically because the humans aren't perfect. We're used to computers always giving the right answer, and I get that. AI is going to make some mistakes. You need to put the same system in place for the AI that you put for the human. Okay? Sometimes it's going to be a little wrong. And so what you can do is have another AI check your first AI and escalate that to a human. And right, error on the side of caution. Send more to the human. The human will still do 10x the work they used to do. Harvard put out a paper for coders, as I wrap up, doing 4 times the work of a software developer without AI. And that ranges in study to study, 25% sometimes to 4x. So these things will become more commonplace as we get through this and as these things evolve and become cheaper. I think it's exciting. I leave you with that today. I think the creative path from here forward is going to come out of companies doing things and not these frontier models anymore. Thank you.